Welcome to the Lakeshow podcast presented by Jack in the Box. This is a weekly deep dive into the biggest stories and topics surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm Allie Clifton, my Laker insider, Mike Bresnahan. We've learned a lot about him.
I appreciate that.
We've learned a lot about him coming into this podcast. May or may not share.
Yeah.
And longtime NBA writer, my favorite, Kevin Ding.
There it is.
Ding.
There on cue.
Ding,
Thank
ding.
you.
Good job, guys.
Shall we talk about what we were discussing before we come into the show or no? Probably not.
Brez's dating history should be fodder for every program on Spectrum, I think.
Wow, way to put that.
The fact you asked Ding, I knew exactly what the answer would be. I mean, Ding and I go 20 years back.
Yes.
We've been friends for a long time, and I knew exactly what he would say.
Brez dated a girl near my hometown,
Yeah.
which is clear across the country. What?
Lima, Ohio.
Wow.
Not to be confused with Lima, Peru. A little bit different.
Or Lima.
Lima, thank you. Lima, Peru. What's wrong with me? I've even been to that city. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Wow.
Yeah. And you have one mutual friend on Facebook,
Yeah, which is you.
which is me.
Interesting. But I'm not even friends with her. But my sister lives there. What a small world.
Yeah. Maybe I'll ask your sister to just, drop off like a gift basket to her and
Easter basket.
Easter basket. Good timing.
I thought we were going to focus on Brez's dating history, not the random
Not the one part of his
the psychotherapy that I think we should get into,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
Brez?
There's years of that.
Yes.
Necessary.
Ding. Brez and I each have a niece. You have 3 daughters.
I do.
Do you guys still do Easter baskets?
Well, the last daughter is 5, so we
Yes.
have to.
We do an Easter basket there. Yep. Okay.
And
Yeah.
my wife is a real estate agent, and one of her big client events is actually an Easter egg hunt for all the client kids.
Oh,
and
that's
so
awesome.
we just had that on Sunday. And so it's a madhouse. The Easter bunny comes dressed up, snap some photos with them. So Easter is actually a big deal.
Ding, be honest. Do you push the little kids out of the way to get the golden egg with the cash in it?
The pain is to hide the eggs for the kids, which now the 2 older daughters, that's their main job, is to run around and hide the prize eggs for the big hunt. So.
What was the best surprise in the egg?
See, that's the thing, is that all the prizes were like toys or candy. And what I had a problem with was some of the eggs were awesome looking, like spectacular, different, and
Yeah.
other ones were generic plastic. And then the regular ones, they're all the same as the good ones. So I'm going to take that up with management. I think there should be special
Management.
With management.
AKA
special
Maggie.
eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least just one, and whoever found that one. that had-
Exactly. You got to earn something special. Yes.
So like the really ornate ones, you open them up, there's like 2 stale sweet tarts in them or something
Pretty
like that.
much like a lifesaver.
Remember when
Just
we used to be kids, and there used to be money hidden, but it was like a nickel, but we'd get so excited. Like I thought I was rich.
Yeah, that's gone up because my mom does one for my 8-year-old niece, and there's like $20 in a couple of those eggs. Like
Oh.
it's really and my
20?
brother.
Well, where we're from, Brez.
Yeah.
I'm just
No,
kidding.
no, like the times have changed. Like inflation has really, I feel like, kicked up the dollar value. Because hey, I'm old enough. It's probably a penny in our eggs.
No,
now.
Brez, your mom gave you $20 like when we were 5 years old.
Yeah, actually,
Come on.
you might be right. She really spoiled us. Or like Star Wars figures, or
Yes.
if you could fit them into an egg. But yeah, it's my brother realized a few years ago that the price had gone up on these eggs. So there would be like 15 people at my mom's house down in Orange County, and he would find where the eggs were hidden, and he would open them because there were other kids that were like part of it too. He'd figure out which had the highest denomination dollars because there's singles, there's 5s, there's 10s, there's 20s, and he would eyeball the 20s and direct his daughter right to the 20s. So she at the end of the hunt, she'd be adding up her money. She'd have like $80, and all the other kids would have like $4.
Yes. See.
It took us a couple years to figure out what was going on, but we figured it out.
It's not right. That's not. It's just like at our thing on Sunday, the parents were going around picking up eggs for the kids, and I'm like, come on, that's not cool. You gotta stand up, stand back, and let the kids do it.
Let the kids do it.
It's not right. It's not right.
I will be, Geeter and I will be sharing responsibilities this weekend for Friday and Sunday's game. So I will be going home for Easter this weekend. My family does not know, actually. I'm just going to pop in.
Oh,
nice.
Maybe I should dress as the Easter Bunny because I don't think they have one this year. Having said that, for all the kids, I will be hiding the most absurd things in these Easter eggs because I have
Like what?
not been to Easter with my family in like a decade.
That sounds like a good backstage Lakers segment right there.
Me dressing up as Easter Bunny.
Allie near Lima.
Near Lima, yes, I will be in the Lima area. I will look up said human being earlier in the show. Having said that,
What's
there's
her name
some I tried to make a connection to Easter with the Lakers right now, but I'm not sure I can do it.
Eggs
So,
or brown like balls.
Ding,
Yeah.
you weren't here last week with us, but when we potted after the Hawks win, Geeter was here.
Yeah.
I asked the question to the guys, did that win, the Hawks win? Okay. Coming off that win, and what was the game before that?
God, they're all playing together this time of
Sixers?
year. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sixers was a win.
So
yeah.
it was two wins in a row. Coming off that Hawks win, did that win do anything to increase your confidence level that the Lakers can either A, make a push for the 8 seed, which at the time they were 2.5 games back of Phoenix, or did it increase your confidence level that the Lakers can flip the switch when the time comes and make a deep playoff run? Just how things were going. So since then, they have now won 5 in a row, including that big double overtime win, obviously in Milwaukee
Huge.
without LeBron.
Yep.
They are now 2 games back of Phoenix for 7th and a game and a half back of the Kings for 8th. So I ask you the same question.
I think you have to feel better about their future prospects, not so much based on I mean, obviously you want to win, but the teams they've played haven't been that great. A lot of Eastern teams, Atlanta especially like that. To me, a victory over Atlanta, guys just standing like pylons on. There's no like anybody should be able to route them.
Yep.
And right now they're rolling through a lot of Eastern teams, and Memphis is obviously not good. So that part of it, I think you put it with a caveat. But the fact that the way they're playing is more cohesive and role defined, and it seems to me that not so much that they've waited to flip the switch. It's more organic that the roles have kind of come together. You can blame the coaches for not putting them in the roles earlier, or you can blame the players for not doing what merited this setup before. But now it looks like this is the way a quality team performs. And it just so happens they're playing teams that I think they largely should beat, except for the Milwaukee game, which was a unique game. But the way they're playing gives me a lot better feeling about what they could possibly do as we move forward.
I want to say that you're more optimistic than Geeter, because when I asked this question, it was not the same answer. However, I think now Geeter would be saying the same thing you are after this past week, Brez.
Yeah, unlike Geeter last week, I was pretty optimistic simply because of the schedule for the Suns. They have the hardest remaining schedule. It's not even close. And by the way, the Kings have like the 3rd or 4th hardest schedule. Meanwhile, the Lakers have one of the easiest schedules, 7th easiest last time I checked it. And here's where I think it's going to flip for the Lakers. I think they really can pass Phoenix. Keep in mind, they have the tiebreaker with the Suns because of that goofy play-in tournament game that created a 5th game between those teams. But I think this weekend, the Lakers, Sunday, they play Brooklyn on Easter. Happy Easter, guys. And then they play Toronto, and then they play Washington. Those 3 teams are either out of the playoffs or Brooklyn is about to be eliminated with a couple more losses. Lakers should go 3-0, even though all 3 of those are on the road. During that same time frame, you've got Phoenix playing at New Orleans. Then they host Cleveland and host Minnesota. And then they play New Orleans again. Like, they have a murderous schedule. They play the Clippers twice after that. But I think during that 3-game stretch, Lakers, Brooklyn, Toronto, Washington, should go 3-0. And the Suns, New Orleans, they're fighting for something. Cleveland, they're still fighting for something. And Minnesota, obviously trying to get the top seed in the West. So I think if the Lakers go 3-0 and the Suns go 1-2, it's over. I think the Lakers will catch them and stay. They'll be tied with them in the standings, but ahead of them because of the tiebreaker. I think next week, by mid-next week, I think the Lakers will really be putting the heat on the Suns. And by the way, if the Suns go 3-0 during those 3 games, congrats. They deserve to have walled off the Lakers, sealed them off from getting the 7 or 8 seed, because that's a tough schedule. Good job, Phoenix, if you go 7-2 or 6-3 or whatever you have to do to keep the Lakers at bay, because those are not easy games.
We have a fun bucket or brick coming up when it comes to the play-in scenarios that could happen for the Lakers.
Got it.
Having said that, you also mentioned roles being defined, whether it's on coaches, whatever the case may be. But it reminded me of the news we saw with Gabe Vincent. And obviously the way this team is playing, clicking at the right time, et cetera, as we all know. when you possibly are adding, I understand that Gabe has not played but 5 games this year, but the news coming out from Dave McMenamin tweeting earlier that he's listed out for the Pacers game, which will be on Friday, but plans to join the team in Indianapolis. I believe I saw that there's a potential that he could play possibly versus Brooklyn on Sunday or be available, barring any setbacks, which kind of leads me into, then there was no Anthony Davis in Memphis, right? After playing the 52 minutes, obviously career high for him versus Milwaukee in that double overtime win. But you see other guys stepping up, guys kind of coming into their own, if you will, the confidence, specifically Rui Hachimura against the Grizzlies, 32 and 10, 7 of 8 from 3, just very efficient, 11 of 14. For him alone, Rui Hachimura, what are you seeing from him? How impactful, how pivotal is he? I guess pivotal is a good word to this team and what they're going to look to accomplish.
Yeah, I'll be honest that I'll answer the question I posed earlier. I feel like the coaching staff started the season wrong. It was messed up. Obviously, Vanderbilt was hurt. But I remember we were in the studio talking about these scenarios, and it wasn't a Taurean Prince really conversation at that time. It was Rui, and then if Vanderbilt had been healthy, it would have been that scenario. And to me, maybe in part because of the health, or Rui obviously wasn't super healthy.
Because he's had his stretches too. Yeah, good point.
At the beginning of the season, but they got off on this foot where they went small and stuck with it. And Prince and Reddish and those guys got all these minutes, and you're basically playing a relatively small backcourt with a guy in his 21st season who's not really wanting to play much defense at this point in the regular season, and then you're just expecting AD to clean up everything else. And the other guy on the court is 3-and-D guy or whatever. I felt like the staff really needed to figure out a way to get Rui untracked. If he was going to be the guy, Vanderbilt was hurt. You sign him to this big contract, and clearly they were disenchanted by things that he did not do and a little bit of lack of health early in the season. But things he did not do, things he didn't want to do, this has been the guy, what he's been most of his career. So as a coach, you see how frustrating is this? The guy won't rebound. The guy isn't a good passer. He's, won't defend to the level that we need him to. So I'm going to penalize him by taking away his playing time and rewarding these guys who are at least, trying to do the right thing. And you can make a case for that. And obviously coaches all over the world do that. But to me, if you're trying to take a guy with Rui's talent and size and salary, honestly, you got to figure out a way to get the most of him over the entire course of this regular season to take a load off the 2 stars. And then you get into this stage where the Lakers are now, where, he's not going to score 32 every night. Sometimes he scores 9. Sometimes he has these moments where he has 3 rebounds, and sometimes he has 12. But he's in the mix. He knows he's going to get minutes. And so he is confident enough that he's going to get his shots to make him happy. And then he's more inclined to do all the stuff you want him to do, as opposed to the way that they approached it, where, my opinion, they treat him sort of like a youngster or a guy I'm going to take this away from you until you play the way I want you to play.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he had 3 separate injuries, that kept him out for about a week and a half each time. Not a lot of consistency for him on the court the first half of the season. And now we're starting to see the Rui that helped the Lakers win series last year. He was unbelievable, just under 50% from deep in the Lakers playoff run. And as for Gabe Vincent, I don't know what to do with that, Allie, because the Lakers already signed a guy as insurance in case Gabe couldn't come back or wasn't what the Lakers hoped he could be health-wise if he did come back. Spencer Dinwiddie has been very good as that third guard.
Right.
I just don't know if there's room for Gabe Vincent, and they'll throw him out there, I'm sure, especially like you said, Ding, if they want to keep going small ball. It's just he's not a big. They're thirsting for a big. They are dying for a big right now. Christian Wood, when he gets back, if he can, to help out in the playoffs, they would love that because they're just running out of people. To start Jackson Hayes in a very important game, obviously Memphis isn't what they were supposed to be, but, they had no backup center. It was unbelievable. So Rui's got to play that role. LeBron's got to play that role. AD obviously was out. They're really hungry for a big. So to get a guard back, okay, let's see what he can do. I loved what he did with Miami last year in the playoffs. That's why he got a nice contract from the Lakers, 3 years, $33 million. But like you said, Allie, he's played only 5 games. What can he give him? I would hold my breath. I don't think I would hold my breath, I should say, until we see how he fits into the puzzle here.
You wonder, too, if there's going to be an opportunity over, 9 games left?
Yeah.
If the Lakers have a chance or able to, I guess, earn themselves a big enough lead at times over the course of these games and put themselves in a position where he gets just reps, an opportunity to get back out there. Because as we all know, if you're going to go deep in the playoffs, depth matters. And you want to have him, obviously, as an option and someone that hopefully feels a little bit more comfortable and confident as he gets some of those reps. But I agree with you that Spencer Dinwiddie pickup signing.
Huge.
It's a good problem to have, though.
Yeah,
that Spencer's playing well, and then now you have an option with this guy. But I will say that let's backtrack and remember why they signed Gabe Vincent in the first place is because he has this winner intangible, right? That he'll figure out a way to contribute. And so those are the kind of guys you want to give the benefit of the doubt, at least give him a shot at it, and he might help you in a few of these playoff games playing some role, whether it's, it might not be scoring, it might be an intangible thing where he's an energizer or he's an antagonist or something that he knows as a veteran player who's won before knows how to do, sort of like a Fish, would do for the old-time Lakers.
And kind of like that of Spencer from a space of being able to adapt to whatever,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Like, we obviously know what Spencer's capable of. He's a veteran in this league. Having said that, that's not exactly what the team has needed.
Right.
But he's found a way to impact and be on the floor.
Correct.
Gabe does give you a little more defense, too. Like, that's a pretty good second unit. If you have Dinwiddie and Gabe guarding the other team's reserves, I mean, that's pretty good defensive front right there. So I do appreciate that from Gabe.
It is, to your point, it's a good problem to have.
Yep.
How about this? LeBron has obviously been managing his foot and ankle throughout the season. He spoke about it after the win in Memphis.
Just be very strategic on, what, obviously games and, how many days in between games and flights and things of that nature, obviously. Understanding and seeing how my ankle and my foot is feeling. But, just being very smart about it, obviously. We are where we are, but our health has always been the most important for our ball club, not just one individual, but for me looking out for myself when it comes to injury and knowing my foot and knowing my ankle and things, how it reacts and how it's been over the last couple of years. So, just always, keeping a hefty eye on it.
Does the allure of moving up in the standings at all impact the way you view how you're going to manage your ankle?
I would have probably tried to play yesterday if that was the case. I got to be smart with it. It doesn't. If I'm not, healthy or any close to being healthy, then it's not good for our ball club anyways. It's not good for me.
So the Lakers we've talked about a lot on our shows this week. Ding, I'll start with you on this. What's been kind of your take? Obviously, no one knows themselves better than LeBron, and just obviously the long journey for him and managing the ankle and what's going on. 6-4 without him this season, which is a bright sign, I guess, if you will, for the team. But then to sit out versus Milwaukee and respond with a triple-double, like what? And by the way, like, he's only missed 10 games in season 21. That's another thing, too.
Right.
It's wild.
I think it's been great. Let's rewind to the beginning of the season when people were saying, "Oh, there's a 30-minute cap or whatever." Like he's.
I forgot about that.
He's gonna sit out.
That was the shortest lived
Remember,
storyline ever.
Right at the start of the regular season, there was suddenly oh wait, he's gonna sit out every one game of every back-to-back, and
that narrative stopped in the third quarter of the first game.
It really did. It's like, okay, that's out the door.
Yeah, he kind of seized control of his his health and his destiny pretty quickly. So resounding success, I would say. Not that it should be surprising. He knows what to do to be out there and to perform. I will say the numbers don't show it, but watching him play, it's pretty impossible to think that he can move laterally the way he used to. It's just not there for him. Downhill, the fold freight train, he can still obviously get up for dunks, as we just saw the other night again when Austin lobbed that one, when he was over Scottie Pippen Jr. Laterally is the thing that is not quite there, but you don't really even notice if the guys around him are doing their jobs. And so he can put up a triple-double without that with ease.
Yeah. On his 2003 Escalade tires, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so amazing, really amazing, yet again, amazing. And we take it for granted, but we shouldn't, but let's try not to.
Yeah.
But
Fair.
it's truly, truly amazing what he's done.
Here's what I don't love about the Lakers schedule. They still have 2 more back-to-backs.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't love that. It's pretty apparent. He will be sitting out these back-to-backs. I also don't love the play-in week. Okay, they're going to play on a Sunday, last game of the regular season. 2 weeks from this Sunday, coming up quickly. And then they'll play again Tuesday or Wednesday, depending if they're in the 7-8 or 9-10. Then they might have to play again Friday, and then the playoffs start that Sunday. So they're going to have at least 1 extra game. Unless they go on a hell of a run, the teams above them completely collapse and the Lakers finish 6, probably not going to happen. But they're going to have to play at least 1 extra game, maybe 2, and then the playoffs start pretty quickly. So I don't love that. The good news is once you get to the playoffs, once you're in the first round, things start to calm down a little bit. You're going to have 2 days between games, sometimes 3 days between games, and I think he'll be able to maybe catch up a little bit. And obviously no back-to-backs. So it might be a little bit of a pressure cooker the next few weeks, again, including that kind of busy play-in tournament where they might have to travel a little bit, depending on where they finish. And then once you get to the first round, that happens pretty quickly. They're going to play that Sunday, almost for sure. If they have to go to that Friday play-in game, that second play-in game, just to prove they belong in the playoffs. But you just got to get that first round, that first game over with, and then maybe take a breath.
Let's not forget, come Sunday night of the final game of the regular season, they will have already played 83 games.
Yeah. Add another 1 or 2, right? That's a great point.
They would have already played a mini playoffs.
Yep.
Okay, let's all be serious.
Remember when they used to be best 2 or 3 ding back in the early 80s, maybe? First round?
Yeah, Lakers, Kings there.
You guys, the
era.
Easter Bunny might be one of the scariest things. Sorry, I was just thinking about myself dressing up as the Easter Bunny. Might be one of the scariest. What do you call it? Costumes, animals,
Yeah.
like what?
Yeah.
Mascots.
Well, they do have
Santa's beautiful.
You're not say Santa's lovable, huggable.
Leprechauns are awesome.
There's a movie I think before you were born called Leprechaun. That freaked me out about leprechauns a little bit, and I'm Irish.
We talked about this
Yeah, it's a
before we
little
came on
scary.
as well.
Clowns,
Horror movies.
clowns
But you're not going
also
to dress.
Clowns are great for Halloween.
Clowns are scarier than bunnies.
I don't know.
Are you gonna, there's like angry bunny outfits. You're not going to wear that if you go as Easter Bunny, right?
Every bunny looks the same. And y'all are going to think about me this weekend if you listen to Lakeshow podcast. When you go to your little Easter festivities, you're going to be like, Allie's right. If you stare at an Easter bunny long enough, it'll hit you where it counts. Anyways, here we go.
Love
Lakeshow
hearing
fans,
how Allie's mind is
remember, you
working.
can be a part of the
Bunnies.
show each week. I was just thinking about that. Feel free to send us your questions and comments. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's around a bucket of break. Think about it.
I'm going to find some scary bunny.
Just look at it.
It's because
You don't have to find a scary one.
Cute.
Huh?
Real bunnies are so cute that you don't want fake bunnies.
God. Welcome back to the Lakeshow podcast presented by Jack in the Box. If you're enjoying the show, you can check out more original podcasts from our Spectrum News journalists on the Spectrum News app. Just head to the podcast section to listen to the latest episodes. You can download the Spectrum News app on the App Store or Google Play. I've got that memorized. Time for a round of Bucket or Brick presented by Jack in the Box. Jackson Hayes stepped in for AD last night against the Grizz. 14-7 on 6 of 7 from the field. Bucket or Brick, Jackson has exceeded your expectations this season.
This season, I mean, I'm going to brick that.
What? I take
Throw it
everything
at
back
Brez.
that I said about
That's
you
my
earlier.
favorite part about this game.
Aim
is
for
throwing
this
it at
one.
You
Brez.
just want to throw it at Brez.
I'm going to throw it Brez. Just because it's not entirely his fault. I don't feel like he got a fair shake at the beginning of the season when they went small and kept going small. But he looked great against Memphis. Like, he was active. He was doing the little things. He was eager to set screens and rebound and make the right defensive reads. And it hasn't been that way all season. So that's why I brick it, just because he hasn't been consistently contributing. But lately, I think we should be encouraged.
Because of him, or though?
That's why I'm saying
Because what were your expectations then?
What was he, like the 8th pick in the draft?
Let's
Like,
go
or
back and
something
read your
like that
diary the day
originally?
they signed him and what you wrote to yourself about him.
What's that?
Let's go back and read your diary the day they signed him and what you wrote to yourself.
No, expectations were not that great at the time that they signed him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm saying, given his talent, given the fact that there were some opportunities when other guys weren't seizing them during the course of the season, I feel like he could have done more.
You knocked that out of the park. Way to answer that. I was just giving you a hard time.
All right, fair.
Well done. Russ?
This is a bucket for me, and here's why. I actually felt bad for Jackson Hayes. He was one of the first guys to sign with the Lakers during the offseason, and they were like, hey, he might even start alongside AD.
Right.
There was that conversation.
There's a lot of big expectations of him. That all went out the window when they signed Christian Wood just a few weeks before training camp. And I'm sure Jackson Hayes was like, oh, damn, because Christian Wood and he are completely different players. Christian Wood has had a better career, has put up better numbers, and Jackson Hayes kind of got forgotten a little bit. So to me, my expectations went from pretty high to pretty low after the signing of Christian Wood. And now I kind of like how he's been. He's been good when called upon, hasn't always been called upon, but that was a huge game for the Lakers to get. No way they should be losing to Memphis. That would have been a really terrible loss, for lack of a better word. It did not happen in part to Jackson Hayes.
But over the course of the season, he hasn't seized those opportunities. Christian Wood hasn't lit anything on fire. And then, like I said,
they kind of canceled each other out. I see what you're
Rui
saying.
wasn't doing the stuff that they wanted, defensively and rebounding. So it could have happened.
Yeah.
Given,
I hear
given
what you're
his
saying.
ability. That's all I'm saying.
So
You're
he's
not wrong.
essentially.
You're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
I'm actually
We're both
gonna
kind of in
hold
the middle. Oh, Allie's distracted.
I was going to ask you something.
She's
I
looking
saw
up her
on
Facebook friends that I know.
No, basketball reference, something under Jackson's name, but I'll ask you guys after this. Austin Reeves got his second career triple-double against the Bucks, 29 career-high 14 boards, 10 assists. Bucket or brick, Austin will have a 15-board game one day.
Huh.
Wow, where'd that question come from? Interesting.
I'm gonna brick it. It's because I feel like throwing it. Dang.
Blocked.
Dang, good dodgeball move right there.
That's right.
By the way, Phil Jackson once took a look at all of us beat writers. I don't even remember what city we were in. It was pregame when you could have a little fun with Phil. Looked around at all of us. He said, Kevin Ding is in the best shape of all of you. We were like, hold on a sec. Yeah, I was running half marathons and 10Ks at that time, and Brad Turner was, 15 years younger.
Like most of Brez's stories, it has a kernel of truth.
Explain it to us, Kev.
He embellishes.
No, it was along those lines. It was like this guy, this player, so and so. He's athletic, like Ding.
Yeah, and we're all like,
From the
hello.
GOAT. There you go.
So
That
that's
is actually not even the same. Like, Brez completely missed that.
Yeah, mine's better, obviously.
well, he looked at all of us and he settled on you. So you must have been by.
I'd rather be athletic than in shape, fundamentally. Well, yes, that's more value.
That's funny.
So, anyway,
I don't even remember the question.
Austin Reeves, 15
Yeah,
board
that seems
game.
like a lot.
You bricked it,
I bricked
though.
it. That's a lot. He's doing great. Don't get
I'm
me
going to
wrong.
bucket this because I'm on board for anything Austin wants to try. He can do. He'll
Agreed.
figure out a way. He will, master some subtle technique that adds 3 boards, and he finds contact.
He's not
he figures
Westbrook.
out.
He's not one of the best
he's-
rebounding
he's-
guards of
he's-
all time.
He's honestly, talk about not appreciating LeBron. Step back and this guy, undrafted guy who comes in and delivers this kind of impact, figures out a way to do stuff and doesn't get tired somehow, despite all the stuff that's placed on him the past couple of years. Really impressive.
I looked at him late in the game last night, and I was like, his his lips look like they were turning blue.
Yeah.
I was like, he looks so tired, but obviously coming off of, he played 48 in Milwaukee the night
Exactly,
before.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. But makes it look so easy. All right, play and matchup preference edition. Okay.
Okay.
Bucket or brick, Warriors are a better matchup for the Lakers than the Rockets. The Rockets have won 10 in a row.
I am bricking that all day long. For the Rockets, 10 in a row they've won.
Yes.
Doesn't change the fact that I don't think anybody on their team that plays really is older than 30.
Fred Van Vliet.
I think he's 29.
He's around there.
And so you're talking about playoff situation. I will take experience and savvy, strategy, adjustments in game and next game.
Even in a one-game situation?
Well, that's why I say in game and next game. Like it requires a level of focus and planning that inexperienced NBA players just don't know how to do, no matter how much they're coached up.
Okay, yeah.
So I fear guys who know how to win, especially at the playoff level. So Warriors for sure would be more frightening to me.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Houston, nice push here over the last few weeks, but where were you the first 4 months of the season? I mean,
They were there for a minute.
yeah, and Şengün.
But a minute only.
I think they would miss Şengün against a team with a really good center like AD. I don't think the Lakers fear the Rockets. And yeah, like Ding said, the experience. Hey, the Warriors, whether Steph was crying last night in his jersey or not, after Draymond got ejected 10 seconds into the game, I don't know. But that team still has a lot of savvy and a lot of scoring and a lot of, as our friend Robert Horry would say, a lot of veteranism. So
I was going to say
yeah,
1 game,
Yep.
7
Give me
game.
the Rockets.
Do not need to see that team.
Give me Cam Whitmore, who he's never played in anything close to the playoffs.
Bucket or brick? Suns are a better matchup than the Kings.
Ooh.
You want to go?
Yeah, I got to bucket that. Just based on the head-to-head. The Lakers 0-4 against the Kings. I still don't really know how, Kev, but it happened. I was like denigrating the Kings privately all year. Like, okay, this team finished 3rd in the West last year, lost right away in the playoffs. They're nothing. Lakers are a better team, but I still don't know how that happened. But apparently it happened. And they went 3-2 against the Suns. So, yeah, 3-2 versus 0-4. You tell me, Kev, who's better than
I'm sorry, I got to brick it.
Yeah.
And bucket it. Both.
Brick Bucket?
Playoffs, similar to what we were just talking about as far as veteranism, but talent is also something that you can flip the switch in the playoffs and try harder, focus better if you have talent. And the Suns have so much talent that I want no part of dealing with guys that you just cannot
I want
stop.
no part of Kevin Durant.
And I admit that I think I've been thinking the Kings are overrated. I thought the Lakers would beat the Kings twice, here the past month. It didn't happen. So
think how much better the Lakers would be situated in the standings if they went 2-2 against the Kings instead of 0-4.
You know how nuts that game would be if it had to be in Sacramento, Lakers
Oh,
Kings?
I know. So many cowbells. You missed all that good times when Phil
Oh,
Jackson.
I heard it on the broadcast. I was like, if you all don't move this cowbell from this television monitor, oh my God.
Yeah, that's all because of Phil Jackson. Because when they were having these battles in the early 2000s, the Kings and the Lakers in the West playoffs, Phil once referred to them, and Ding, you were covering the team at this time.
Right.
He referred to the fans, maybe even the entire civilization of Sacramento as, quote, semi-civilized people.
Yeah,
Is that what it was?
he called them redneck in
Did he really?
some form or fashion.
That's right.
He
That's
was,
right.
He was all over them. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so they started bringing cowbells because they were semi-civilized and rednecks, according to Phil Jackson. And they kind of made a little comeback whenever they played the Lakers. I noticed when I was up there a couple weeks ago. It's loud. It is really loud.
All right, final one. Bucket or brick? Deviled eggs are the best Easter dish
Brick.
at your Easter dinner.
Brick. Ding, give me some of your bricks. Brick.
You don't like deviled
I
eggs?
like deviled eggs.
Deviled eggs are the best.
I don't know
the
why they're
worst.
really good.
They're
I don't know
so
why
good.
they're really good.
There's nothing good about deviled eggs.
Like
Oh,
the
I'm gonna
fake
be
yolk is
sick.
better than a regular yolk.
Oh, it's so creamy.
No, ew.
Yes,
My mouth is like watering in a bad way now.
they are delicious.
No, they're not. They're awful.
Yes.
I got to go,
I
guys.
know what we're bringing in for Brez next week.
Russ is scared of deviled eggs.
Deviled eggs.
You
and,
won't
like-
touch a deviled egg?
No.
What about a pickled egg?
When's the last time,
Absolutely
when's the last
not.
time you
Boiled
had a
egg.
deviled egg?
No. Scrambled. That's
Scrambled?
it. Just scrambled. Just
Oh,
scrambled.
that
Hard.
No. No.
I didn't mean that.
Russ,
Fried. I meant
No.
fried.
No.
hard.
Hard egg.
You're so
And on
close-minded,
that,
Brez,
this is
toward
the
eggs.
shit.
It's
Wow.
like
Wow.
that tuna stuff that you get from the local market.
Tuna salad?
Yeah.
Chicken salad.
Yeah, no, those are both terrible
Egg
too.
salad.
All of them are awful. Awful. Terrible. I'm getting sick.
Are you that mom that makes egg salad for her kids on the boat before they go out to sea? You guys have all seen that on TikTok?
No.
I know our Lakeshore listeners have, yeah.
No.
Okay, well, Ding. Cheers to your deviled eggs.
They're good.
Thanks to you all for listening
You
to the
are way
Lakeshore
off.
podcast. I can't wait to get it in my mouth and you just like
Ew.
presented by Jack
really
in the
bugs me.
Box. Brett loves it. I love the movie Saltburn. If you like what you hear, leave us a rating or review on your favorite podcast app. We want to hear
You
from
like
you.
deviled
Send us your
eggs, do you?
questions. Hit us
They're
up on
gross,
X
right?
at Relay
Yeah.
Clifton, at Mike_Bresnahan,
You
and at
feeling
Kevin
nauseous like
Ding.
me?
Until
Yeah.
next week. You don't like deviled eggs?
Brett's getting sick over there. Yeah.
What?
How about tuna salad?
Who?
No.
Deviled eggs.
Pasted
are delicious.
No
y'all's
tuna salad, no
Cheerios
chicken
today.
salad, no egg salad. No.
You like
No,
football?
Dick.